Thank you for joining me today. I appreciate taking the time to talk. This is my talk here. Specifically, a philosophical conversation. It's trying to frame this in a way that I want people to think more in long term. So it's about building platforms. It's also a 20-minute talk, so you might just be like hard to like fear or I'm Nash, the co-founder of Integry. Integry is a software company implementing software integrations, automations, things like that. Typical boring internet plugging stuff, right? So today I'm talking about building platforms. We will trade off for effectively the mug.
He said that. That's okay. You got him in the board.
Right. So every successful company ends up becoming a platform. What does that mean? How do you become a platform? Just to talk a little bit about that. The most impressive modern thing is not one thing. It's not a tool, it's not technology. It is our ability to collaborate. It is so, this is so common, maybe we can see this. Milton said there is no one person alive that can build this success. So the example here was the word of the steps of coming from Washington. The trees that are sold in Washington have axes or moves that are using very especially like pineapple for different places. The eraser that you see here had rubber in Malaysia. So hundreds of thousands of people collaborated together to build this pencil. These people might not be because they like it. These people might try to like each other. These people might have different currencies, but they all coordinate together. And in exchange for a little bit of your money, you are exchanging a little few seconds of their time to do this pencil. So if you land in an island board with religious scratch, it is clear possible very little from scratch. There was a direct experiment done or a group project called the Coaster Project. Some guy called us wanted to build a coaster from scratch. This is a 4-column coaster in England. And it would take about 9 months and more than 1,000 pounds to build a coaster from scratch. And it's still cheap because if you use 1,000 pounds, you still exchange service. If you're usable, so it's impossible to do this from scratch. And then lastly, the freeze was that when they started at Amazon, they already had the door return to do. So they already had the biggest credit card system in place. So when you do start building programs and apps to be particularly for you, you don't have to build your own database. You don't have to build your own data center. That years ago, had to roll out all of data systems. You have to think about simulation tests, think about the power register, think about all these different things, backups, all that. You don't have to think anymore about. So everything is really now based upon what has been done before. I like to think of this as in stacks, right? So you can think of the road infrastructure as stack. You can think about opinion system as a stack. You think that you're building on top of that. And a platform is just a layer in the stack on which people are being able to really work into a drop off, right? So, and the reason I talk about this is, as you can see, technology, there's a lot of pressure to think shorter. There's a certain facts, crypto, it's Web3, it's AI, it's 3 years gone forward, right? But you cannot think about platforms differently in days or weeks or months, in years or 10 years. So I want to encourage you, the technology choices that you're going to make today, tomorrow, are thinking about in multiple years. Typically, it's 5 years is the average rise, but Python is every more 30 years, or almost. Django is more than about 20 years. So these things have stood the test of. So this is the clock of the long log. It's 100,000 year long. It ranges what 700,000 years. It's physically required just to think in longer. So let's go back in time. Let's give ourselves a long perspective. The first computer, the first laptop again, computer was invented. It was all hardware. So you had to make a program, an operator, looking at to shift things electronically in the phase. This is the time where 80-90% of all the computers in the computer were all me. There was all operators and all the programmers, the original programmers were all humans who were doing this manually by hand. So this is our first stack. This is the first layer stack. This is the hardware layer. You can decompose this, but because we're software focused, we're just going to consider this as the base. And then we said, well, instead of physically moving switches, what if we could actually start shipping as like zeros and ones? So this is a very, as an example, what if the first digit for, and whether there's a plus or a minus, and then you have 2 operands, right? So you could turn this in an 8-bit number. So the punch chart sort of like this idea. So you could have got this holds here and the computer reads, and each line that you see here, for example, is like an instruction getting into the computer. So now you no longer have to switch wires every spare time. By the way, this is where the cluster of debugging comes from. Bugs are getting system actual voice in Google, and so that's what it is, the low creature code, right? So now you arbitrary exists on stars of all of the part, right? That's the second layer of the set. Going forward, assembly years invented 1947, standing the Wi-Fi club along, and same idea of parity developers that was very simple, like you have registers, add things together. You get not just like the idea of software itself. So now you have this ability to write software code. And it's a very low level, like you're just basically doing a lot of things to have little low, but this is so much better than what we had before, which was much worse. So every time this improves, the time to do something goes down, right? But you also notice expertise stage. In some ways, the complexity also in some ways goes down. And so, and then you highlight like this in order to converge to order, use this example C, and the same number of lines of code are now boiled down to the stored line of code, but behind the scenes, it's abstracted. How is it abstracted? Because underneath it is still compiling into the sheet code, and so it's every layer as an abstraction, right? It sort of makes things easier for you, but it's higher usually on you as well. All right. The first UI 1960s was the command line interface, which for the computer in the 3D it was just command line. If you ever cross, for example, cross was all command line for a distant call. You have to learn commands, CD, data directory, all this, right? So the non-technical users started sort of getting more easier what hands on this time. The degree came around in 1960s, 1968. There's a great demo, if you've heard of it, called Mother of Our Demos. There is this first prototype, the first example was really shown. And then, markup languages, the famous Mother of all languages, standardized terminalized markup language, which is the pattern of all markup languages. It sort of gets it rendered over here. And so now, as you can see, our stack is getting a little bit deeper here. So we went from machine language all the way now to degree. Now, markup language, like I said, the triggers is just totally different. We also have GUI editors that came on, things like VE6, it was a really great visual editor. It looks something like this. It looked like a toy at the time, but it was really powerful. Most programmers were like this. Thing it was simple, it gives you better things better. So that is a really good tool. You have export now, you cannot visually schema your apps, big IS, things like that. So this was what was easy because what you get, the idea was instead of writing HTML and then see the result, you directly get it HTML. This is still currently work on the word was like Webflow retool, which only in the last 4 or 5 years the editors requirement now word that you can do visibility of many things. There are other concepts around visibility as well. We could skip all these, but fun examples here. I heard of this talk a couple of years ago, so some of this is data show. But anyway, you can see that I didn't know the series of book. And so now things change from a GUI, so from a graphical user interface, that's your visibility, IDK prompting, and then, and here's the example. So instead of using the GUI, we're taking so you can just simply tell Figma, for example, this is where I want to engineer it for you, right? Or I'll read for you. And so, my feed was just very easy to see that the future is what I care about, right? You just tell us as we're going to show you where it is, and you start with it back and forth, right? You have an conversation with it. So I didn't you go on the just change the laws out here. All right, so platinum laws. All right, so the first law is the law of restriction. Each layer, any layer that you decide to create on will be restricted by the layer below it. So for example, if you decide to create an iOS restricted to what iOS is limit required, this is not just a technical limitation, something that is to limitation. There are many inherent APIs to iOS allows you to, doesn't allow you to use any other effort, right? Where you're leaving or not, or there's a tool process you really define. So there is a lot of restrictions with any tool you use. If you decide to create out of a MySQL, there's plenty of limitations on what MySQL so for your application there. If you decide to create out of PyCon, there are limitations with Python and cannot do. So the first law is of restriction. The second law is of extension. If you want to extend what you're learning, you have to go down one level. So what that means is, if you have an application that was built on top of Django, in order to actually do that application, you have to go down to the Django layer, right? Get credit for. There's a fairly logistic, right? This has an application. Layers typically extended remotely by its creators to cause the access to the underlying code. So the second quality, every open source software can be extended by free. Again, this is pretty common. Understand this. And the layer the scholars have to be source code. For example, if you are using Chrome, gives you a plugin architecture, right? It's a Sigma gives you everything, right? So, for example, if Microsoft Word just add buttons, you can extend functionality there. Microsoft will give you a button to add on your stuff. One of my favorite things is Google, and it gives you the example file for the variable that I very all of my data. This is going to be clever. This is a level editor. So now, by giving you a level editor, it allows you to extend against FPS, the first security, two levels, those prolific common models. There are so many different types of availability across the community visitors. These levels can also cause to give you the level editor, right? So it was a really ability to extend. DevTools by definition are there to generate editor. So if you're using an ID, for example, if you are using PyCon by definition is designed to use to generate a editor, right? So the platforms, and I was just talking, an app cannot give standard price to users, standard might have differently, and the platform can give standard price to users. So users can figure out if you could extend on the platform as well. So for example, you have a Chrome data set, you're working at 39, so you can use a level editor, you can extend it. It's sort of all platforms with building FPS, really those buildings, right? Same Microsoft Word, money platforms, add more things, functionality, or very good side work. Think about savings and you can have a whole community of plugins like that, more. And like, so that the example we have is like you're able to generate other users, right? This is the free applications. Every open source and app can be a platform. Anybody can provide an extension. You do get free extensions. Free extension is if a layer generates an artifact, if a layer generates an output, maybe you can get a layer for free and extension for free. And that is basically an example to Microsoft Word. Microsoft Word, we're able to create Word document and things like that, right? You can take this user to get your content or data or output, and that will be not the available library as an extension. So, for example, Microsoft offers you a library of CDs and templates, living trees. That acts as an ecosystem and extension in itself. It's almost like an ecosystem where you're taking things and doing it, that's what we need, right? You have to go there. So that's it for free. Just let's get through this. So now the deeper the layer is, the slower it has to. I believe this is a great way to it's a little back and forth. The reason why there is the lower down you go, things have to be slower because everything is all over you. The faster you do those layers you create. These are called base layers. And so Earth is like 4 billion years old, like universe that is 14 billion years old, and the small flicker of time that really exists. There's stability in the cosmos that these guys like you're right now. If you go up north to Sambal, to Florida, Florida used to be the bottom of the sea. That's why it has the birds like swamp reserve, right? That if there was a split and sea drain, then the fall was night. So things change, but at different bases. If you want to layer the story, moving a low layer comes with a lot of factors. You have to provide compatibility, migration, incentives. Some great examples of this is how Microsoft, how Apple did this. They moved through a RPC architecture particularly, and they provided a emulation layer for Rosetta after the Rosetta Stone. And they did this fantastic property and they excused Apple system architecture. They were moving away from Intel to their own architecture, and they provided an emulation layer for Rosetta 2. And this is one of the most remarkable freedom constraint that we saw. And they did it so seamlessly, but this was a large didn't need that to activate our room, including the syllables to move to that layer. So there are a few versions of the layer here. The further up you go, the faster you can move. So for example, you can create a Word document every day. You can create a application updated every single day. But the new OS version was not coming updated. It has not come updated. You might come out later, right? The more you move down, you have to move slower and more carefully. The further up you go, the more into the business to pay for, right? So you're not moving the more towards getting 10 users. So the people in the further Excel are people who are doing presentations, are business visiting, or maybe you speak to our designers. So the higher you go, the more visibility it is. The further down is more away from business. It's more generic. The higher up you go, the more users are there. So the incentive of this time is you're accessing your business. And so a larger market with it. So the closer you are to user specification and pricing, the similar to pricing has to be. So the idea here is if at any software which is priced for end user grace, like for example, that Slack is person price, very single user price, right? Whereas you get pricing for Sigma, it's like person pricing for food random, for example, and food reducer where there is transaction cost. But if you go down these layers, the pricing gets pretty complicated. A few examples here are, for example, hey, just to view the third example here, if you have to buy an ECU, that's the third quarter. You have to tell them what the C3I is, the recipe, the RAM, the amount of RAM, uptime, the service, all of this to like 5 or 6 dimensions, and you figure out how much is your cost rate. So you can be complex prices if you further down the layer, but the further if you go, the price has to be simple here, because, right? So successful platforms, to be a successful platform, you have to have a very small amount of functionality which is so useful that your users are willing to extend this, willing to put things that are already present out, right? They're willing to extend. You have to figure out what is it so easy about your platform, it is so better for your platform that users are willing to extend that. Typically, if you're a business at around $100 billion of revenue, and another business period of offer you and current profit, and doing this before that economic place will be utilized the economic part of race. So every large quarter will become a platform actually, but they have to be really part of the economic success as well. I have mentioned Integry, my company, we work with integration. Guys, this is also an extension to make different styles together for integration. And that was a different crowd in here. So yeah, and also the last year before now, so I had about 2 years. And everyday question for the idea is that, again, I said this, we'll talk about this is the winning entry part. I want you to think longer. I want you to see the long arrow of time and see how things have evolved. And when you make decisions, you build things, don't think about just 1 or 2 years, think about getting to years. It's hard to do, especially in Norway. Anything you create 5 years ago is already helping make some shape or form. So it's a hard thing to do, but there's one thing I really like what Jeff Gillis website. He said that 10 years later, 20 years later, there are a few things will still be. Users will still want cheaper products at a faster delivery times. This is where we all do. So anything we create has to be about some of these durable principles. So with that, we can take questions. I'm sure there are none, but if there are any, you can let the folks here out. Yes, no questions.
The someone is designated to register. Do you have a question? What in explanation? Oh, there is this.
You get the note on the
Appreciate it. Please repeat. I assumed it. And like everybody you saw that over the vote and something about it. All bad and on the beer. It is going to be on that.
So like I mentioned, so the question is if I bring in the open source platform, whether this is going to be an application or a platform. I think you, by definition, anything by any open source, any versatility development for doing it. So there's already a career set of this. We do a platform, you still use a extraction, still you have a lot of routines over there, but the principle still have to be there. You have to commit towards building something that could be extendable or at least have some architecture in place that the model can be extendable. We work with a lot of startups. I'll give you an example here. Every startup that we talk to, we typically either demand that you have a developed API. Now, page 2024 is to repeat on that. We have an API. So we'll have an API. And I would like to see very few startups design their API in a way that they expose perfectly. There are internal APIs which they turn clients to use, and there are API level APIs that have a number of security issues. And but if the beginning, if you put in this decision that tomorrow we might open this API, it does not cost too much, but the architecture decision there will have to be made for that it's open X, which mark is not going to cost you down the line. So there are decisions like that. But whether or not you have an area for public consumption, in the early days is not necessarily the as steady environment. So there's a little period of here. When you think long term, the only sort of the main and early stage benefit is making decisions of architecture which later can help you in extending. But under high pressure, the balance is there a cost of that to it? And what I argue here is making these decisions do typically have a cost to that. Another example is writing a testable code. If you're going to write testable code, so writing a code versus a testable code is a little different. But I think it doesn't cost more than writing art. If you're not on a testable code, it doesn't cost as much as it's on a testable code. I'm not talking about the act of writing a testable, but writing the code that's testable. But if you have that in mind that the code we're going to write is going to be testable, the cost isn't significant anymore. Now, adding testing on top of that is separately, but I'm just sort of emphasizing that the decisions that you make in the architecture is extendability. And it could be different things for different people that was the right, any other questions? All right, thank you so much. You can follow me on Nash, Fair Article Verbal Diary, where you can also follow me on LinkedIn. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Nash.